We're following breaking news in Bel Air. A man crashes into the gates of actress Jennifer Aniston's home.
Oh! You crashed the car!
Beyond the laughter, the fame, and the polished Hollywood image of Jennifer Aniston lies a heartbreaking reality filled with struggle. She has carried burdens that fame could never erase and fought battles in silence. Her journey has been marked by deep personal pain, sacrifices that went unseen, and wounds that time has not fully healed. What she lived through was far more devastating than the world realized. Join us as we uncover the tragedy of Jennifer Aniston and how it all ended. Breaking through. Jennifer Joanna Aniston was born on February 11, 1969, in Sherman Oaks, Los Angeles. She came into a family where Hollywood was already part of the air she breathed, but the glamour never managed to hide the troubles that lay inside her home. Her father, John Aniston, came from Greece and built a career as an actor with a strong presence on screen. Her mother, Nancy Dow, carried Italian, English, Irish, Scottish, and Greek roots, and she too had acted. Her early years shifted when her father's career pulled the family to New York City. The excitement could not erase the unease that grew at home. By the age of 9, her parents' marriage ended, and her father left for good. His absence was not just physical but emotional, leaving her with a wound that shaped how she saw love and stability. At home, her mother often placed heavy expectations on her, holding Jennifer to strict standards of appearance. Remarks about her looks and behavior became a regular part of her childhood, planting seeds of doubt that would take years to confront. Money was not abundant either, and life did not feel secure. Jennifer discovered that making people laugh could ease tension and distract from the cracks around her. Humor became both a gift and a shield, helping her cope with the pressures of home life. These experiences shaped Jennifer into someone cautious and resilient. By 6 years old, she was already exploring her imagination. Her parents enrolled her at the Waldorf School, where creativity was encouraged, and she first stepped into drama as a safe space. By 14, she entered LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts, a place that tested her dedication and sharpened her skills. Under the guidance of her acting coach, she learned that performance was not just about pretending, but about exposing real emotions. After graduating in 1987, Jennifer entered a difficult period filled with odd jobs to keep herself afloat. She worked in telemarketing offices, served food in restaurants, and even delivered packages around New York on a second-hand bike. Every dollar went toward sustaining her dream and buying time for auditions. Her earliest work included commercials and small appearances, but television brought both hope and disappointment. Between 1990 and 1994, she landed roles in several short-lived shows. Each cancellation pushed her closer to the thought of giving up. That changed in 1994, when a chance meeting altered the course of her life. She met Warren Littlefield, president of NBC Entertainment, at a gas station, and he encouraged her to keep going and try out for a new sitcom. That encouragement carried her into the audition room for Friends. Originally reading for Monica, she was instead chosen for Rachel Green, a role that would change her life forever. Rachel quickly became more than a character. Jennifer's humor, warmth, and vulnerability made Rachel feel alive to audiences. Friends grew into a worldwide success, dominating television for a decade and turning Jennifer into one of the most recognizable faces of her generation. Awards came along with record-breaking paychecks, but behind the success lay the pressures of fame. Every hairstyle, outfit, and choice she made became public conversation. The role that brought her glory also tied her to expectations she struggled to carry. During Friends, she began breaking away from Rachel through other film roles. After Friends ended in 2004, she continued to build her career through a balance of romantic comedies and dramas. The Breakup, Marley and Me, Horrible Bosses, and We're the Millers became major hits, showing her range and ability to connect with audiences in different ways. In 2019, she returned to television with The Morning Show, not just as an actress, but also as an executive producer. The series gave her the chance to explore themes of power, truth, and survival in a ruthless industry. The performance brought her praises and major award nominations, reinforcing her place in Hollywood after decades in the business. She also embraced new projects, including a Netflix's film and the Friends reunion in 2021, which drew global attention once more. Through all these phases, Jennifer Aniston built a career defined not just by success, but by resilience. From a childhood marked by absence and pressure, to a young adulthood of rejection and uncertainty, she learned to keep going. The movie Friends gave her fame, but her determination to go beyond it gave her longevity. She remains one of Hollywood's most admired figures, not because she lived without pain, but because she built from it a life and career that continue to inspire. But unfortunately, that wasn't the end of her challenges. A Heart in Pieces. Jennifer Aniston had risen higher than most could dream. After Friends turned into a worldwide hit, she had proved she was not just a sitcom face. Films followed, and she became one of Hollywood's brightest stars. Her name alone could carry a poster, and her smile seemed to glow across magazines and billboards. To many, she was Rachel Green, but behind the character stood a woman whose real life was about to take a dramatic turn. While her career was reaching new heights, she was swept into a story of love that was not scripted. It began in 1998, in the simplest way. She was set up on a blind date with Brad Pitt. He was already a golden figure in cinema, admired for both his talent and his presence on screen. Together, they looked like two stars pulled into each other's orbit. And when they met, there were no flashing bulbs or managers hovering nearby. It was just two people finding a connection strong enough to block out the world. When they finally appeared in public together, the response was explosive. The media declared them Hollywood's golden pair before they even settled into their relationship. To fans and onlookers, they became the symbol of beauty mixed with genuine affection, something rare in their industry. By 1999, Brad proposed, and their story became front-page news everywhere. Paparazzi followed them constantly, and fans couldn't get enough of the romance. On July 29, 2000, their wedding took place in Malibu. The event was kept private, with high walls shielding the ceremony. Around 200 guests gathered to witness their union. Jennifer wore a gown that left an unforgettable mark on the night, walking toward Brad in a moment captured even in blurry photographs that spread across the world. The image of their wedding became a picture of what many thought was the perfect Hollywood ending. Their union also blended into their professional lives. They created Plan B Entertainment, showing that their partnership was about more than romance. It was about ambition and vision. For Jennifer, these years seemed lighter, filled with a sense of comfort she hadn't known before. She spoke of Brad as someone who wasn't just her husband, but her closest companion. From the outside, it seemed her life was in balance. A powerful career, a marriage admired everywhere, and a bright future. But time began to change things. By 2005, that story took a different shape. Work schedules stretched longer, and distance grew between them. What once felt like proof of ambition soon became time apart, with both wrapped up in film sets and tours. Slowly, cracks began to show. The press noticed small details: a missing ring, separate arrivals at events. Then came rumors linking Brad with Angelina Jolie during the filming of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. The gossip grew louder until it dominated headlines. Jennifer found herself trapped inside a story she had no control over. The separation was announced in January 2005, and the news hit like an earthquake. Fans reacted as if their own hearts had been broken. For Jennifer, it was more than the end of a marriage. It was the collapse of a life she thought would last forever. The press hounded her. Even the most ordinary errands became an ordeal, followed by cameras searching for signs of sadness. Then came a cruel rumor that she had not wanted children, and that ambition had cost her the marriage. For a woman already under decades of public scrutiny, this accusation cut deeply. The loneliness was heavy. Nights in her home felt empty, and the silence pressed against her. She leaned on therapy and yoga to keep herself grounded. Friends close to her became her lifeline, giving her strength when the outside world was too harsh. On film sets, she used heartbreak as fuel for her craft. By the time the divorce was finalized, she was no longer the same woman who had stood in Malibu under fireworks in 2000. She had become sharper, more guarded, and stronger. She no longer sought to live up to the world's idea of a fairy tale. Yet, even after the divorce, the pain lingered. Brad's new relationship with Angelina Jolie quickly grew into a spectacle of its own. Their growing family, photographed constantly, was displayed across covers worldwide. Every time their family expanded, Jennifer's name was dragged back into headlines, compared cruelly to images of Angelina's children. The press speculated endlessly about Jennifer's body, questioning her choices, and using her as a symbol of unfulfilled dreams. It was exhausting for her. She was working, living, and moving forward, but still defined by whether she had a ring or a child. The pain of her broken marriage was already a wound, and this constant comparison was salt pressed into it. Jennifer endured by slowly rebuilding herself. She put one brick on top of another, strengthening her foundation. The woman who emerged from those years was not the same as the one who entered them. She had faced heartbreak under relentless scrutiny, but she carried herself with resilience. The fairy tale had ended, but from its ashes came something harder to shake: strength that no camera flash could take away. And then came another phase: burning bridges. Work became both her shield and her challenge. Jennifer Aniston used her roles to break free from the image of the sweet girl next door. Years later, in 2014, she went deeper in the movie Cake, stripping away glamour and showing pain in its purest form. The film brought her respect from critics and showed her strength as an actress. She took the chance to bring her own scars into her work, telling the story of betrayal, discrimination, and the heavy glare of fame. Step by step, breath by breath, she stitched herself together in ways few people ever saw. In 2016, after years of being trapped in other people's stories, she decided to speak for herself. She wrote an essay that cleared away the noise, declaring that women are complete, no matter their relationship or motherhood status. For once, the world was reading her truth, not another version written for headlines. In the years that followed, she spoke openly about her struggles. She revealed she had tried IVF treatments and wished she had frozen her eggs earlier. She accepted with strength that motherhood might never come to her, and she carried no regrets. It had not been an easy road, but she refused to let unfulfilled hopes reduce the life she had built. She was no longer the woman left behind. She had been broken by betrayal, by loss, and by separation. Yet she took those breaks with humor and self-belief. After her divorce from Brad Pitt, she slowly stepped into love again. She met John Mayer, a younger musician with restless energy. At first, he felt like a spark in her life, reminding her she could still feel joy and excitement. But sparks fade fast. His world of tours, parties, and endless movement clashed with her need for steadiness. The end came not with a dramatic explosion, but with the slow realization that trust had been broken. She was left to face the sharp sting of being blindsided. In the weeks after, her home carried a new emptiness. The kitchen felt different, the bed felt too big, and nights were filled only with the hum of the refrigerator. She carried that loss quietly, rebuilding again in her own way. A few years later, in 2011, she met Justin Theroux on the set of Wanderlust. He felt different, steady, thoughtful, and warm. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to believe in lasting love. In 2015, she married Justin at their home in Bel Air. It felt like a second chance at forever. The years that followed gave her peace, with mornings filled with coffee and late-night conversations. She spoke of Justin as her partner and her closest friend. Friends saw how much lighter she seemed, how her smile stayed longer. But even steady love can shift. Work kept them apart. Conversations grew shorter. And by 2017, the distance was undeniable. 2 years after their wedding, they separated. This time, there was no storm in the tabloids, only the private devastation of knowing that deep love is not always enough. She was 48 years of age, old enough to know that healing would come, but young enough to still feel the pain of starting over. 3 great loves had shaped her life, and each goodbye left its own scar. Together, they formed a map across her life, not hidden, but carried with strength. Beyond all this, the dream of motherhood haunted her. She imagined hearing her child's cry, holding a small hand, lighting birthday candles. But the years passed, and that dream remained out of reach. For decades, the tabloids turned her private pain into a game, analyzing every photo and asking if she was pregnant. Behind closed doors, she tried every possible method, but each attempt ended in disappointment. However, she chose not to dwell on it. And that was the beginning of something new for her. Evolving beyond expectation. For Jennifer Aniston, marriage no longer carried the same weight for her as it once had. She kept an open mind, but no longer chased it. She had realized, often through painful lessons, that her happiness did not depend on a partner or on following a traditional life script. Years of public judgment, failed treatments, and heartbreak had reshaped her. She had been called many things in the media: the divorcee, the woman left behind, the one without children. Each label hurts in its own way, but she also emerged as the woman who survived, who transformed pain into strength, who leaned on therapy, yoga, and a close group of loyal friends to rebuild herself. Today, Jennifer Aniston stands as someone who has shaped her own identity. She carries scars, but they are part of her strength. She knows fairy tales are not handed out. They are created, rewritten, and sometimes do not have the most meaningful ending. For her, that choice made her complete, and it is what makes her unforgettable. At 56, she has built a life centered around spaces that bring her comfort. She splits her time between her Bel Air mansion, bought in 2011 for $21 million, and a farmhouse in Montecito she purchased in 2021 from Oprah Winfrey. The Bel Air home holds deep significance. That house became her sanctuary, filled with glass, stone, and memories she both treasures and has had to grow beyond. Over the years, Jennifer has shaped her homes as carefully as she has shaped her life. She once owned the Ohana House in Beverly Hills, which she bought after her divorce from Brad Pitt, and later sold for a great profit. Before that, she shared another Beverly Hills mansion with Brad, a home photographed widely as a symbol of Hollywood glamour. She has also lived in a Malibu beach house, a Laurel Canyon retreat, and New York condos, each marking different chapters of her journey. Now, in Montecito, she lives near other celebrities, but her true companions are her beloved dogs and the memories of her late pet, Dolly, whose collar still has a special place in her home. Her garage reflects another side of her. It holds a luxury Bentley, a rugged Jeep, and a Land Rover. Yet most days, her joy comes from staying close to home. She spends her time cooking, tending to her garden, practicing yoga, and even reorganizing drawers until everything feels just right. Physically, she shines, not because she chases youth, but because she is devoted to taking care of herself. After her separation from Justin Theroux in 2017, she was no longer seeking marriage. Though often called Hollywood's most eligible single woman, she was content to live differently. More recently, she has been linked to Jim Curtis, a wellness entrepreneur. Their connection is kept private, perhaps because she knows the price of letting the world in. Professionally, she continues to be a major force. Her work in the morning show has kept her relevant, respected, and awarded, proving her power as both a star and a storyteller. Alongside her acting, she earns millions through endorsements and business ventures, building a net worth of over $300 million. Yet for her, true value lies in the shape of her days, not the size of her bank account. She now prefers the simple things of life. The media still tries to connect her to old stories about Brad Pitt, but Jennifer no longer feels the need to defend herself. She knows her truth, and that is enough. Her focus now is on protecting her privacy, taking care of her health, and using her voice when it matters. She has learned that fulfillment comes from living on your own terms, even if it's a different path from what you imagined. Jennifer has proven that family can be chosen, love can take many forms, and happiness is not measured by anyone else's expectations. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.